Oh,
And we are live.
Woo.
Hello.
Hello, people. Hello, Fee.
I need
Hi,
to get
Okay, I got everything set up. We are live, and we have Fee in the room, and I am Jace, and I'm just listing stuff.
And
Are any of you old enough to remember Romper Room? Because I always feel like that during introductions.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that was actually brought up in God, whose stream was it recently?
Now I feel like
It was
need
Dahlia.
a guitar.
Chit chat. I think it was our chit chat stream.
Was it? Yeah.
Yeah. When we were talking about different shows.
Yep. Okay, so I am Jace. I am an author. I am not published yet, but that is in the works. I'm also starting up my editing business, and that is not up yet, but it is in the works as well.
Jace, you're just in the works, period.
I am a lifetime in the works. All right. Who is next? Meadow?
sure, I'll go next. Hi, I'm Meadow Lamoreaux. I am also an author tuber. I have a couple of videos up. I am planning to film one and post one up this next week. I'm planning the AuthorTube meetup in Portland in June. If you're interested, let me know, and I'll give you any information that you need. And I will be looking for beta readers for my book at the end of April for anybody who's interested. Cool. I am done.
Hey, I'm KaShay. I write short stories and poetry. I am not feeling well today, so I won't have the light on, so I'll be on avatar mode. Just wanted to say hi. We'll be working on some short stories for a few contests that I found that I want to enter. So
Awesome.
That's what I'll be doing today.
Noise.
Miss Chloe?
I am Chloe Alice Falcon. I am only an author tuber in the sense that I host and also occasionally pop up in other people's writing sprints. So here I am right now. I am a published author of a handful of paranormal romance and also erotic romance. They're all real weird if you're into weird erotic stuff. I don't know. And I am currently looking for ARC readers for a steamy demon romance. If anybody is interested in that, hit me up.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And now, Miss Amber.
I just felt like a sideshow. Anyway, and featuring, yeah, I will also be in avatar mode because, like Cash, I'm getting over being sick, and so I feel like crap, and I feel like I look like crap, so I'm gonna avatar today. But I write paranormal romance. Unknown Love being out right now, soon to be in Audible form, but in ebook and paperback. And I'm editing Unknown Family, which is book 2, so that I can get to work on book 3, finish writing it. So that's me.
Woohoo! I am in the process of locating a timer.
Learn from me. Don't do any with music.
I don't do them with music because I cannot write with music.
Well, then
I'm
there you go.
really thinking about the music that I can write with. It has to be instrumental.
Yeah.
But not necessarily, not classical music. I like classical music, but not when I'm writing. It just needs to be instrumental. If it is bluegrass, fair enough.
I've just been doing the Google timer, and then I listen to my own music.
I think that's what I'm going to have to start doing, because other than the classical one with the picture of the piano, every 20-minute timer seems okay. Every 15-minute timer so far has gotten my butt copyrighted, and I'm getting pissed off.
I use Aphrodite's 20-minute timer, and then I use Dahlia's 15-minute timer. But like, if I'm gonna give somebody views, it might as well be somebody I know.
My problem is I always freaking forget till the last minute, so I just have to Google it instead of using theirs.
I have an app on my computer. It's just something that I downloaded called Hourglass. That works real well.
That works too.
Hmm.
So, oh yeah, we have a Morgan in the chat. Come on.
Yay!
And we have Devin in the chat. And we have Fee in the chat.
And Fee is so nice.
Hello,
Yeah,
all
thank
three
you,
of you.
Fee. That's so pretty and nice of you to say.
My avatar definitely looks prettier than I feel right now.
Well, yeah, you have a migraine.
I have a migraine and I'm getting over being sick, so like I'm running a fever right now.
I feel like my avatar is also prettier than me, and my avatar is a pineapple.
My avatar is a koala.
Very cuddly.
I also used to have. I had an avatar of a guy I thought was really, really hot.
He was really, really hot.
Yes. Was the model for one of my characters in my book.
So is this guy, though.
What guy? Me? That's my actual face.
I know that. Why am I getting a phone call? Oh, shoot. I was supposed to go visit my grandma today.
Oops.
I was wondering what happened with that.
All right. Are we ready to throw down a 15-minute sprint?
Sure.
Yes.
Yep.
All right.
Yippee.
Let us start in a 3, a 2, a 1, a go.
Sprint!
And we are done. And looks like while we were gone, we had Doll come in, and we also have Persephone.
Yay.
Ooh.
My eyeballs are fatigued.
I know that one.
New glasses problems.
Yeah, I'm trying so hard to keep these on so that my eyes can adjust, but they're just making my eyes feel really tired.
So, anyone who's counting words, how did you do?
I talked to Persephone. I mean, not Persephone, Aphrodite. Sorry. You said Persephone was here, and I'm like, wait, like, we're wrong person. I'm trying to show her how to invite me into the Discord for Shattered.
I wrote 0 words.
I edited 2 paragraphs, but one of those paragraphs was 1 sentence. So I don't know if that really counts as a paragraph.
I got a page written, and I'm not done with the scene yet, but it is getting close. And it is definitely going to assist a story thread later down the road.
Oh, and I made a pot of tea. I guess that counts for something, right?
Yep. Life goals.
Pot of tea.
Since I've done the dishes and I can find my sink again, I might make me some sweet tea.
I finished my salad.
So we were all productive in our own ways.
Yes. Productivity is productivity. Persephone is laughing at you, Amber. She said both are goddesses, so that's understandable.
See, and I write about goddesses, so yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Which I love that her name is Persephone because that's Sada's mom in Unknown Family, so.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, Doll's working on her AMM submission. Ooh, that is
Okay,
that's
color me stupid. What is AMM?
It's
Mentor
author.
match.
Yep.
I
It's
considered it, but author mentor match.
Oh, I just do Pit Mad every year.
Sorry, my food came in. That's why I stepped away. My bad.
Oh, that's fine.
I just publish my stuff. I just ignore all of that and I just publish. But again, when you write steamy romance, like whatever, the market is so flooded, it's easier. And like there's so few publishing houses that will do it that like I'm just gonna do it myself.
Yeah.
And
Well,
also,
go ahead.
say also with steamy romance, the market can get completely saturated, and the people who read it want everything.
Oh yeah. It's great for the authors, but like it's great if you're indie or if you're like well established. But if you're trying to get in traditional publishing, it's a mess, and really you're stuck with Harlequin, which good luck actually being visible with them. So yeah. I just published it myself.
Yeah, them, or if it's shorter, you have Avon.
Yeah,
not so much steamy, but yeah. No, I kind of want to get. I always do Pit Mad just for the off chance, but it's not something that I'm actively pursuing traditional publishing. But I read in one of my craft books one time that having there's A, B, C, and D platform authors, and everybody starts as a D when you're just starting. And then the more you publish and the more you brand, you go up in the letters. And so I'm trying to get myself to a B established. And then I will have, I will show that I have a book and I have a series, and then I'm going somewhere with it so that more people in the traditional sense will be willing to take me on.
Oh yeah, having that followers and a strong newsletter and all of that, it really does. When you're trying to get an agent, it does.
Yeah,
because now, and they want you to be able to hybrid publish because they don't. Yeah, it's just a different world than it used to be.
Yeah, So
Yeah, I think I am going to do a little bit of querying, but if it doesn't pan out, I'm not wanting to hold my book in query forever.
Right.
yeah,
I'm feeling the same way. Like I want to try to do the traditional route, but like if I'm doing querying for a year and nobody wants it, then I'm just going to publish it.
I think if anything, like if you want to have that one book that you have as like, I mean, not necessarily don't keep it the same book forever, but if you want to have that like one book that you're using, like that you think is strong enough to get yourself traditionally published, and then you continue to work on indie projects while you're going, then it's not a bad business model to, but you know, you don't want to like put all of your eggs in that traditional basket, because
Right.
even if you do get picked up, it takes so long to even see a paycheck from that unless you get some sweet advance, which hardly anybody does anymore.
Right.
yeah. See, I do like I'll send out 10 queries a year for Unknown Love, but I still keep on going with Unknown Family and Unknown Happiness and Unknown Origins. So
Yeah.
Yeah, part of my issue and part of why I was stressing out was because I was thinking that I needed to start making money off of this book. And it finally, I mean, I've heard it said by like everyone on YouTube is don't count on the book as your income. You
Jason,
need
are you part of 20 books to 50K? Are any of you guys part of 20 books to 50K?
I am not.
I am.
So it's a Facebook group, and they do other stuff. They're really good about like giving solid business models, though. And the whole thing with it being called 20 books to 50K is that what they push for it, among all the other things, but like the starting point of it is it's not that one book that you put out that gives you a career. It's the 20 books that you put out. And on that 20th book, people are still going to be looking at your first book. So it's getting that backlist. So like right now I've got 6 books out and I've put very little into marketing because I can't really afford it. And I know that at this point I don't have enough to really make the money off of marketing until I get some more out there. But they are like a really super helpful group if you're trying to figure out what you want to do marketing and strategy wise.
Yeah, I got on there one of the writer workshops we did. I think it was last month, but I was on there before there. Somebody else had actually mentioned it. And so I got on there, and they're really helpful. I really love them.
Yeah.
So.
They're really like, there's not a lot of smoke being blown there, and they're also really super well moderated. So everything stays pretty well on track, and it is, you know, of all the groups, like I feel like a lot of writers groups are the blind leading the blind, but with 20 books to 50K, it's a lot of people who really do know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Helping us blind ones.
Let's see. Doll is thinking that her book is too diverse to be marketable. Sometimes that is a problem just because the reader market tends to drive things and they tend to go for bland and vanilla.
Right.
True.
So those of us who do more diverse works have our work cut out for us.
Yeah.
Like mine main character is mixed race and gay. Let's see. Persephone says her series is too long to be traditionally published.
Do you mean like there are too many books in the series, or that the books themselves are out of the range to be marketed? Because that's 2 different issues.
Oh yeah, those are 2 different issues.
Yeah, like if it's too long to be like the books themselves are too long, that is a problem. Too many books. Well, I mean, I guess the flip side of too many books is that you've probably already gotten a bunch of them published, in which case, yes, that is a problem. But I mean, I read series that have over 20 books in them. I was just looking at a series today that had 40 books in it that was traditionally published.
Pierce Anthony's series, I can't remember what the name of the series is, but he's got like one that's, what is it called?
Xanth.
Xanth, oh, that's right. He's got like 50 books in that series and he's still going. So I don't know.
Say, my two favorite authors, Gina Showalter and Christine Feehan, they both have Christine Feehan has like 5 series, but she's got over 70 books.
Mm-hmm.
Her Carpathian series is up to 28 books, I believe now, and
Showalter's got to have about 20 with the spin-offs, right? From
I was just gonna say, yeah, her oh god,
Lords
my head
of the
hurts.
Underworld.
Yeah, Lords of the Underworld has so many books, and then she's got the Pandora series, and then like her Dark Hunters, not Dark Hunters. Maybe just I don't know. My head hurts. One of her series, I think it's the Dark Hunter series. She's got at least 22 because I have them all in storage. So, and the thing about long books, I know you're talking about too many books, Persephone, but long books you can still get. It is a little harder now that they've made numbers on stuff, but like Christine Feehan, I've talked to her before, and she's contracted for $125K plus per book.
Good grief! I didn't realize her stuff was that long.
Yeah, she averages 130 to 140K finished. So it can be done even now if the story is good enough and the series is good enough. And Gina Showalter, her books are contracted for 100K plus. So it is good. So I don't feel bad. Like my first book was 113K and this one is at 110 right now. I still have 2 chapters to edit, but I don't feel bad when I hit over 100K just because those 2 women have done so awesome and they're still so good.
Oh, and the same with J.R. Ward. Her books are mammoth books, and she's paranormal romance too, and she's got I think 18 now with the spinoff of BDB. So yeah, like the market is certainly there. But if you do have a gigantic series, you need to you can't try to get traditionally published when you've already gotten the books out. That's
right.
what the problem is. Unless it's like the first 3 books and it hits bestsellers, and then they'll try to pick you up for that. But yeah, if you've got a bunch out already, keep self-publishing. Yeah. Self-publishing is great.
Mm-hmm. Well, and even other genres. I mean, look at Stephen King's books, how big they are, and Nora Roberts and Dean Koontz. Like, all their books are at least 100K.
But here's the thing. If you are hitting bestseller and you're self-publishing,
you don't need to go traditional.
Yeah, exactly.
You were going to say, yeah.
Well, why give them a giant cut of your earnings if you're hitting it off?
Yeah, and 20 bucks to 50K, there are several people in that group who are doing like 500,000 a year plus. And I don't know that any of the ones who I'm thinking of have anything traditionally published. They do so well in whatever it is that they're doing that, again, like once you figure out that strategy and you just stick with it. And of course, once you make that kind of money, you can like hire somebody to do stuff for you. Mm-hmm. What's the point in paying a publisher when you can, pay your friend to monitor your social media for you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And yeah, I also am in love with big epic stories. I don't think in short format.
Me either.
Yeah. This book that I'm working on, I had initially intended for it to be 3 books, but then as I started writing it, I was like, yeah, this is going to be like 10 books. Jace was not helpful with the amount of books.
I was more than helpful. I made your series much longer.
I guess it depends on how you consider helpful.
It's like, I'm going to keep it at 3 books. Well, you should do this and this and this. Well, shit, now I'm to 10 books.
Yeah. I can't control the length of the series or the length of the books. My the first book in my Shifter series was 25K because I was like, I'm going to write short ones. I'm going to do these short books. They're popular. They're really good on Amazon. That's what I'm going to go for. The fourth book is currently at 60,000. It's like, I just can't do it. And I'm looking at that first book thinking, I just need to rewrite that book because now it's just real dumb in comparison.
Yeah, well, that's a thing that everyone seems to be running into is the first book just not cutting it when your ability to write has grown so much.
That's why I'm gonna wait to publish until I have more of the books finished, and then I can go back and edit earlier books.
I think for me, it was just not being able to follow what I was initially planning on doing. All four of the books in that series were written within a 2-year period. But I couldn't keep that like short and sweet and simple plot thing going on. It's just not who I am.
Right.
And now in my current series, I'm having an issue because the first book is funny and the second book is not.
I am running into that right now with this series. I have so many really funny moments in book 1, and this one right now is just it's somber.
Yeah.
It's so depressing.
Yeah, I went from like a glut demon who was going after the girl because he just wanted her for her lemon bars, and now I've got like a demon that's got 500 years of PTSD behind him. Like, why did I do this? Why is this what I made this character? I don't know.
Well, all of my books start happy and end really, really depressingly. So
not romance then.
no, definitely not. I mean, there is romance as a side plot, but the main plot is not romance, and it's depressing.
Oh, a wild Dahlia has appeared. Hello, Dahlia.
Hello, Dahlia.
Hello, Dahlia.
The whole time I haven't been talking is because I've been on the phone with DoorDash because they got my order wrong.
Oh, man.
Them bitches.
So yeah, just depressed over here. That's how I'm feeling. Just depressed.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Well,
The ending of Cash's book is depressing.
well, let's try and get things right. So let's do a sprint.
I like that segue. It wasn't solid, but I liked it anyway.
Okay, hang on real quick. Just to give y'all a look. One of on 20 books to 50K, I'll say it right in a minute. Like Terry Mixon is a really good author to kind of give you an idea. And to date, in 2014, his first science fiction novel has, from 2014 till now, has given him $500,472.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it can be done. I mean, granted, that's 5 years, but still, like, it can be done.
Yeah, but I don't make $500,000 in 5 years at my current job.
Right. So I'm saying you could add every year I work at my normal job.
Yeah.
That would equal that.
That's like
And that's just one book.
That's like 8 years' salary for my husband.
Mm-hmm.
Over 8 years' salary for my husband.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're good, you're good.
All right, let me get that ready.
Yeah, he's averaging $50,000 a book.
Mm-hmm.
He's got 6 books out.
Wow.
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 If
Owen
it's done
Wilson.
right, it can be done.
All right, are we ready to throw another 15 in there?
Yay.
Grace, I like your rainbow.
Oh, thank you. I like the rainbow too. All right, on your mark, get set, sprint.
Sprint!
And we're done. How did people do? I got a page written. I did some speed writing that time. The thoughts were just flying.
I did some things.
I got a couple Trello cards organized for my outlines.
Cuckoo.
I wrote 271.
Excellent.
I edited 2 pages.
I finished editing that scene, and I have a question for you guys. If I refer to my character's visor magnifier, do you guys know what that means, or is that like a weird industry term?
No, I know what I mean.
I
Okay.
don't know what it means.
Visor magnifiers are the magnifying lenses when you're crafting that can be here.
Okay.
I got it.
Yeah.
Now I know what it means.
I was thinking super high tech, like computerized and it like auto magnified or something.
Oh, well, I mean, they do have like much fancier levels. But yeah, I don't know. My character's a florist. She's going to be using visor magnifiers.
Oh, okay. That makes
See, the
sense.
only reason I know what they are is because a neighbor friend of ours, that my daughter watches their dog, he uses one of those for airplane kits.
Oh, yeah, like model kits.
Yeah, he does like the metal plane kits. So yeah, I've had three guy friends that did those things, so I very well know what they are.
Yeah.
But I'm just a
Definitely a
weirdo that has
crafting
weird
thing.
friends.
It's a weird thing, and I don't think that there's a more common term for them. I've only heard them, like I've heard them called headband magnifiers, but I don't know that either term is more common than the other.
Maybe if you, instead of calling it that, describe him putting it on his head to magnify what he's looking at, maybe?
It's the very beginning of the story, and she's literally just flipping it back to tell her sister that she doesn't have time for her shit today.
Well, if it's in that kind of context, I don't think it really matters what it's called.
Perfect.
As long as you say you're flipping it back, then you're flipping it back from your face. That's all that matters.
Thank you. I support that.
I think people would be more drawn to the telling the sister off than what she was wearing.
Right.
So yeah, we were talking briefly in chat about happily ever after versus happily for now, or stable and coping, depending on the levels of trauma that happen in the story, in the romance section of the story.
I think
mine is probably happily ever after for now.
I think mine is, I kind of go in between. I'm like, it ends with a happy for now, but it gives you the idea of happily ever after, unless you read the next book and you see the crap that they go through trying to help somebody else. So
I've always found the terms to be a weird distinction, because unless it's like literally a fairy tale story or like in the paranormal world where they're like bonded mates, then I feel like everything is happy for now. So I've always steered away from those terms anyways. As long as it ends on a happy note, it's romance to me.
To quote River Song in one of my favorite episodes of Doctor Who, happily ever after doesn't mean forever. It just means time.
Right.
That's really depressing.
Well, because like in Unknown Love, it ends with everything being okay, but then in Unknown Happiness, it's going to show that while one person's happy, it's made another person pissed off and hurt. So when they go up there and you see that now she's queen and she's not exactly happy because she has a whole different set of issues, then you get a little bit of taste of the after from that book, but it's not necessarily a continuation of her story. It's someone else's.
Well, and arguably in any story that has a sequel in which the relationship from the first story has any significance at all in the sequel, it's going to be HFN, because
Yeah.
it would be really boring otherwise if everybody, especially with those series that we were talking about before, where like each book in like 20 books is a different couple. If those couples don't, if the couple in book 1 doesn't have some issues in the next 19 books, then like I feel like you would actually end up losing readers that way, because that's not, because like you're kind of depriving them of more happy endings. You're depriving the reader of the opportunity for them to kind of break and then come back together.
Happily Ever After only exists if the story ends. If the story continues, it's boring.
Jace, I really wanted you to say if the story ends with their deaths. Because arguably that is the only way. If they died, and when they died, they were happy with their relationship.
And the counter to that is also, if the story ends and it's happily ever after, that means there is no strife and no struggle, and it's boring. They live in, a tepid. I don't even know how to say it.
It's boring. It's not interesting if things don't keep, if there's no tension. Like, again, I feel like that's kind of the basis of any story. Wherever that tension is coming from, there has to be tension.
Mm-hmm.
And if they don't die in the end, then
it makes me laugh when you have a story and you've got, especially if you're doing an online thing and you're posting chapter by chapter, and you're in like the second like story arc, and you do something to the couple that's already gotten together, and people hate mail you. And I got this one person at once saying, "Why couldn't you just leave them alone? They were happy." Like, that's not what storytelling is.
Because readers don't understand. I mean, obviously some readers do, but a lot of readers just don't. It's why I know that there's arguments both ways, but it's why I consider readers who aren't writers to not be the best beta readers, because they don't always know why something is a problem or why it's actually correctly done.
Mm-hmm.
And especially, like you said, when you're like going chapter by chapter, leaving feedback, like, no, that was necessary. You just didn't realize it at the time, but it's what's going to get you to read the next chapter because you're so mad about what happened in this chapter.
Yeah, and what was even funnier was that it set up a happy ending.
Mm-hmm.
It was drama to bring forth a happy ending. So I'm reading this hate mail and I'm just like, you have no idea.
I think stuff like that you have to take with a grain of salt, because that's why I try to do like half only readers and half reader writers on my betas, because the reader writers will get that I'm going somewhere with it, where the readers will be so entranced in the story itself. They're like, but okay, you're giving me that, but that's what I want. Like, you don't realize that's what I want. Whereas a writer's going to be like, I know you're going somewhere with this, so I'm just not going to say anything. And while that's great, you kind of want them to, but because they're writers, they know where you're going.
Although that is another aspect of the beta reading and editing that I'm having a hard time with myself. I posted something about it this morning where I'm reading a passage and I'm seeing author tricks and I'm seeing them for what they are. And it's just, it's like, I see what you're doing here. You don't have me fooled. I know what you're doing. And it's just like, this is ruining the experience of the book.
That's why I really only proofread or copy edit anymore. I don't want to be like, I am totally fine with everything that I read now, noticing every goddamn comma, whether it should be there or should not be there. But I feel like because I'm only like, that's the only thing that I do for other authors, I feel like that makes it so that I can still enjoy what I'm reading, even though I'm like, no, that was an independent clause. What are you doing?
See, you don't even know, but we got into an argument, me, him, and Meadow last night about this exact same thing. I don't do grammar, and so I was making a comment about the commas in something I was editing. He goes, "No, that's right." I'm like, "What do you mean that's right?" "No, that's wrong." He goes, "No, it's right." I'm like, "I'm pulling out a book." And I pulled out.
He was right.
For reference, I pulled out Christine Fien's New Vendetta Road, and I just started looking at the freaking dialogue, and I'm like, "How the fuck did I never notice this?" Like, it's because I don't read books and look for grammar because I'm fuck at grammar. So like, I don't see that. That's why I have Jace, and he's like, "No, you're wrong." I'm like, "Okay, now I need to learn." Like, what?
I used to tutor for test prep, SAT and ACT. So I know every flipping comma in the world. Because that was the whole thing with those tests, is that they were looking for the really, really nitpicky stuff. And like, I am all for modifying things for style, but there's that point where like, no, that's not style. You just don't know your comma rules.
Yeah. So now I'm just like going through my last 2 chapters going, is this a comma or is this a period? Is this a comma or is this freaking pissing me off. I just want to edit the damn story. Oh Lord.
That's when you have somebody do proofreading for you.
Yeah, that's what I told him. I was like, that's why I started my company, and the first thing I looked for was a proofreader and a copy editor, because I don't know shit when it comes to grammar.
Yeah.
And that's why she wants me and Meadow. Because we are the grammar snobs.
That's the grammar snobs.
I'm developmental, they're grammar.
I'm not as good as Jace with grammar. Like, he knows a lot more than I do, but I'm a good proofreader.
Yeah. I'll do the developmental and then pass it along to them.
I really love doing developmental too.
I don't like doing developmental, but I'm good for proofreading, and I'm also good for catching continuity issues. That is one of my strengths. Like, I don't know, there were no mirrors here. Why is there a mirror there?
Yeah, I know. I just had
when she was wearing pants like 2 pages ago.
That's funny. I just edited a part where they were sitting on a bench, and I was like, did I ever put that they sat their asses down? Had to go back and look. Like, nope. No, I did not. Fix that. It's another 50 words. Now I'm up to 110,074 words instead of 54 words.
I'm really proud of myself this time. This sequel is 68,000, and that is rough. And its prequel is just shy of 60,000. So I'm actually pretty close this time.
I'm struggling with being creative, so I decided to type up my outline to see if that would help spark something.
Are you drafting or editing right now?
Editing. So I wrote the first draft, and then Jace read it, and he helped me do a lot of the developmental stuff. And so I did a new outline because there's a lot of new scenes that I have to write and puzzle in. And I've just been struggling on writing the new scenes, so I decided to just type up my outline because I had it written out by hand.
Oh, yeah.
So I decided to type it up and see if that might help spark something creative in my brain to be like, okay, right.
Yeah, I think that's a good plan.
So yeah, that's what I'm doing right now.
We'll wait on edits just to like get ideas going. And like, it's amazing when I'm not even touching a story, how often I'm like, oh, that's how I fix that problem right there.
Right.
So yeah, I'm all about taking a break, especially when it's editing, to like reevaluate the situation and do whatever hack you need to in order to
Right. So I'm just typing up my outline. I already wrote it out by hand like twice because I wrote it on the like scene cards, and then I wrote the cards onto like an actual paper altogether, and now I'm just typing it into my computer. So
I think I'm gonna pull out my scene board as soon as I get done with editing Unknown Family and I get back into reading Unknown Happiness, so I can figure out what I did, because I pants the whole thing on the computer, so I don't remember anything I wrote. So like as I read it, I'm gonna write it down by scenes and figure out if I like the way I have it or if I need to add scenes somewhere. Now that I have my room set up where I can actually have an office and have a scene board out again. I miss my scene board.
I really need to do like a scene board or something, because I know it's all in my head. I have all the scenes in my head. I don't know which order I want them in.
Yeah. That's what I like, is it takes some of the pressure out of my head of things I have to remember because it's on the board and I can just like refer to it.
yeah, that's what I had to do. I had to do my sticky note outlining where I puzzled in the scenes. Like I know what the scenes I want are, I just don't know where they need to be. So I would write them all out and then I would move them around until I liked where they were.
I bought a pack of index cards.
There you go.
Cleaning up my office.
them.
Right. Cleaning up my office and reorganizing and going through everything that we brought in from storage, I found like at least 2 handfuls of freaking sticky notes I didn't even know I had. So I'm like, let's use these.
Yeah, I have the issue of when I'm a plotter, but it's a mental plotter.
Right.
So when I go to write, like if I try and write the notes down, that's me writing it. And suddenly I don't have, I've already told the story. I've told the story in notes. And it makes my interest drop. Whereas if I keep it in my head, the interest is just growing and building.
That makes sense.
That makes sense, but like what I do, I kind of like I keep the entire story in my head, but when I write it down, I'm able to in my head, where I couldn't before I wrote it down, like compartmentalize the rest of the story and focus on like 2 plot points and okay, what do I want to go in between them type thing. Whereas if I don't write it down, the entire story's in my head and I can't exactly focus on one part specifically.
Yeah,
So.
for me, it's a matter of just, I've got, all these plot lines, and it's just a matter of taking them like a deck of cards and shuffling them together.
I think my thing right now is because I started this new job and I'm having to learn so much stuff, my brain is so overrun with everything I have to learn that I just need to like make space, I guess you could say. Like I don't want to forget my story, but I need to learn all this new stuff, and so like when I got headaches and stuff and I still want to write and get things accomplished, at least that way I can just look at the board and I don't have to think about what I was trying to think about.
Oh, see, Doll gets me. Doll is also a mental plotter, but for different reasons.
I have to write stuff down because I will forget.
Yeah, I don't necessarily have to have like a full-on outline, but like every single idea that I have, like no matter where I am, I have a notebook, or it's normally a notebook on me. I don't really like using my phone to keep ideas. But every little plot idea I have, I write down, and then at some point what I'll do is I'll put them in chronological order if they can be, but that's normally the extent of my outlining. It's just like whatever idea I have gets written down.
I keep a brain dump page in my bullet journal.
Yeah, I write ideas in my planner, but like the reason I do it is because I only do it if like I keep thinking about a certain idea for a while, because like Stephen King says, the only good ideas are the ones you can't forget. So I like that idea. I like that idea because if it's something that you can just think about and forget, then obviously your reader's just going to think about it and forget it if you don't make it interesting. So I don't
But
know.
what do
I
you
like-
do when you can't forget any of your plot ideas?
You write them all your plot bunnies down in a garden, and you come back later for them.
I'm going to argue that Stephen King has a better memory than me because I have lost so many things that I'm like, oh, I know exactly how to connect those two things. And then 3 hours later, I'm like, I have totally forgotten how I was going to connect them. And now everything that I come up with is terrible.
Yeah, I just have a bad memory. It's not that it's not a good idea, it's that I have a bad memory. Like it's my brain. I can't even remember what I had for lunch yesterday. It's that bad.
Bye, Fee.
Bye, Fee.
Bye. Love you. Bye bye. Now I sound like
Bye.
Teletubby.
Okay, are we ready for sprint number 3?
Let's do it.
Bruh.
So let me do that. Boom.
Sprint.
Whoop whoop.
And we're going to start in 3, 2, 1, go. Okay, we are back.
I just finished my 3rd page.
Yay.
Woot! And we have a wild Aphrodite. Our other goddess has appeared.
Hey.
I've only got 9 more pages in this chapter.
Ooh. I'm still not done with this scene. There's a lot of discussion happening.
I'm still in the first chapter, so it's just a crap ton of exposition that I'm trying to make not ugly.
Okay, Devin, if you're writing in your sleep and finding sticky notes attached to you, that's a different.
That's a skill.
Yeah. I wish I had that skill.
I have these little tiny notebooks. I like them because they're not spiral bound. They're the same size as a spiral bind, but they're not. And I have these, and I get them in like packs of 10 for $5, I think. So I just have them all over the place.
I am returned. I had to go run up and look at the brand on something for Jordan.
Ah.
Oh, my eyes hurt.
Everybody seems very calm now. Yeah, I got less than a page, just close to a page. But yeah, it's getting there. It's more than I've gotten done this past week.
Right?
So anything is good at this point.
Amen.
I've been doing housework because of this dang puppy.
That puppy is a troublemaker.
Yeah, I'm trying to exercise love and patience right now. Because he's trying every nerve that I have.
All the love and patience. Doll, talk to me tomorrow. Like, just send me a message and I can look over what you have. Like with your whatchamacallit? Synopsis.
Oh,
Wow, I
synopses
can't
are
word.
a nightmare to write. Yeah, I understand that struggle.
Yeah.
Well, especially when it's 2 POVs, like, you have to write it as if it's not 2 POVs, like, because obviously their story is going to intermingle somehow. I can't.
The last one I had to write, I was criticized by the person it was going to that they didn't see any character development in it. And I was like, I literally have no idea what a synopsis is. If like the character development is supposed to be explicitly stated instead of implicitly. And I was like, all right, I might be done with all of this now.
I think when it comes
character-driven story, like it wasn't like it was something where it wasn't obvious where the character development was. So it was just a weird comment.
Well, and it's really weird because the synopsis is not the same as the blurb. So like
right.
in the blurb, you're obviously not going to show the character development, maybe hint to it at most, but like that's it. But then in a synopsis, yeah, you're supposed to tell more and like be more in depth. But I'm like, I don't always know that even in a synopsis, you're going to show the character development in depth. I mean, the whole point is to read it so that you get the character development, not state it in the synopsis clearly.
At the end of the day, a synopsis, as far as I've understood it, is just supposed to be a well-written plot summary. And yeah, a lot of character development is just kind of happens along with the plot, but it's certainly like you're not gonna, I don't know. Like I feel like character development is just something that can't be stated explicitly like that.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think that you should say character development in the synopsis because that's something that you would discover while you're reading the book.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like Aphrodite says, a synopsis is the breakdown of the whole tale, but like maybe if you hint to their growth or something, but I mean, I guess it depends on the story as to how much you're going to explain the development.
Like if you're writing a romance where, you know, one of the characters says that they'll never be in a relationship, and then at the end of it, they're in a relationship, then obviously character development has happened.
Right.
So I don't know. It was just a weird, I've always had bad, icky feelings about synopses because of that.
Yeah.
They make me feel dirty. Yeah, I was looking for a video because someone did like one of the author tubers on the Facebook page did a video, I think last week, that was like the difference between a synopsis, a blurb, a query, all that stuff.
Jenna Moresi did one, I think last year sometime, where it explains it very well. She talks about it kind of in like a conversation when you're telling somebody the difference. When they ask, what's your synopsis? And they really want the blurb and back and forth, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And so she explains it very well in her usual funny way. But yeah, I mean, it's just the only difference is a blurb is going to give you exactly what you want the reader to know to get them hooked, whereas a synopsis is kind of a summary of the whole story that you'll go more in detail, but it doesn't mean you have to do like in a query and explain the whole character development. Definitely leave out the moans.
That's sound advice. That's good advice.
Oh, but I want the synopsis to have all the moans.
Oh my god, but what if it's like this is my visualization of this now, is it's not a synopsis that's being read, it's one that's being read to you, and then there's just somebody in the background moaning.
Oh, I just got a cash thing where it's like, I don't want to imagine that. Stop it.
I'm sorry I do this to everybody.
No, like Devin, he's like, leave out the moans, and now I'm just thinking of like an erotic romance, trying to write it in my head as a synopsis, and like all the moans that are in are erotic and not putting it in there. Bad image, stop it.
Good image. Keep it going.
Del, one thing I've seen people do with the dual POV synopsis is they'll give the premise of the world, they'll give a premise for one character, and then they'll do the second character, and then the last paragraph will be the two characters coming together.
Yeah.
Yeah, kind of like a paragraph for the world, a paragraph for one POV, 2 paragraphs for one POV, 2 paragraphs for the second POV, and then a paragraph for them coming together.
That is a long synopsis.
That was another thing I was going to say, though, is that's also an issue of depending on how long your synopsis is supposed to be, because sometimes they do want like a 10-page synopsis.
I was just going to say, when I was querying, well, no, not querying, when I went to the writers conference in Colorado, they actually, the agents that I queried to, said they wanted about a 1 to 2 page synopsis. And that's how they described it to me, if I had multiple point of views. So, they wanted like a paragraph, like I said, of the world, 2 paragraphs of one point of view, 2 paragraphs of the second point of view, a paragraph of them together, and then a paragraph of the details of the book, like the genre and the length, and 2 comparative books and things like that. So
All submissions must include moans.
So I don't know if that helps you at all, Dal, but I mean that's what I was told. So
Yeah, I'm just picturing myself like audio reading submissions out loud.
And then he, and then she,
oh, that's hilarious.
Oh, good. I'm glad we helped.
Yeah.
Yay!
Yay, we actually did something helpful.
So according to Corsivo literary agents, that's what a dual point of view is. Because originally my original first book, Unknown Revenge, that I've taken down, it was a dual point of view. And it was horribly done, and that book will get redone. But that's the one that I had queried and at the conference, and that's what I got told. So.
My brain just created a new title for your series, and it's Unknown Plotline.
That sums up my original book one, yeah. It had a plot, but it was so like unknown to even me at the time. It was just like I did that book all wrong. It was obviously supposed to be an adult, and I tried to make it young adult because that's what was selling at the time. I tried to make it PG when it obviously didn't need to be PG. It was just like so. it was bad. It had a great plot, but it was so horribly executed. Trying to meet the gatekeeper standards that I would fuck that book. It's gotta get redone. Edition 2, 5 years later. I was technically 15 because I wrote it 10 years ago, but yeah. One day.
Whoa.
I gotta get all these other freaking plot bunnies out of my head.
They reproduce.
Fucking bunnies. They do. They reproduce like bunnies. Fucking bunnies.
Exactly. Yeah, mine definitely reproduce because they find ways to connect with each other. Separate freaking series connecting with each other. That is how my brain works.
Though.
Hang on, Aphrodite, there is no way to write a synopsis of encounters without moans. I'm just saying. It's physically not possible.
So what'd you say, Chloe?
Oh, I think I guess it depends on what you're writing, but like if you have two series that the plot bunnies are coming together on, I think it's a good thing as long as the worlds can physically connect.
Yeah, my brain starts finding ways to make them connect, which means that the series becomes massive.
Don't give me ideas, Jace. I've got too many.
Where it's like two independent series though that can be connected together, because I mean, at least in the romance genre, like that is people love that crap.
Crossover.
Yeah.
Well, so that's kind of how Christine Fian did. She's got her Sisters of the Heart, which crosses over from the Drake sisters, and then the Sisters of the Heart crosses over to the biker series she's got. So if you've read one series, you know the characters, but then they also are good standalones. And then if you read the last book of each one, you know where the next series goes to.
I feel like that's the thing now. A lot of the big writers are starting to write series, and they're all separate series, but they're all in the same world, like Cassandra Clare and Leigh Bardugo. And
that
I think
actually,
the Raven Cycle book just came out separate from the original Raven Cycle.
That goes back. I know Mercedes Lackey did that, like back in like the 80s, was it?
Yeah, true. Yeah.
And that's she's how I'm taking my inspiration. Just multiple series in the same world sometimes with the same character set, sometimes with, a
If you
few
call me,
characters
you're dead.
here from previous stories, sometimes entirely different time frames in the world.
I think it's great fan service. Like people who have already fallen in love with those characters love to see little snippets of them again popping
Mhm.
up in other places. Like I think it's a great thing to do, and the readers love it.
Yeah.
See, and I think that's kind of where, like, I was telling you all about my my Western paranormal romance that I'm gonna have a spinoff of. Like, I love my Unknown series, and the Gods of Karina is gonna explore the, I think book 4. It starts exploring the Ava Karina world, but then eventually I want like a spinoff of when the prince originally came to Earth trying to find the creatures that had escaped. Is going to be the Regency era and the Western era and like all the different eras, and it will like follow him specifically as he's running, so that you kind of get a prequel series to how everything became what it is today. So
I'm writing a prequel about one of my characters.
you call me your dead.
1600s.
Sorry.
Yeah, I've got
Ow! What did I just say?
my 6-book series right now. I've got a trilogy that takes place in the college years of my 3 main characters, and each book is a different point of view of one of the 3 characters as they go to different cities. I've got a prequel trilogy, not a prequel, an origin for the world trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
It's getting big.
I have ideas for another series after this one, but we'll see.
I recently rehashed a character from a story I hadn't published that was the original story was historical romance, but with gods. Like it was fantasy, but it took place in 18th century France, based off the Reynard the Fox fables. And so I wrote a romance based on that, where Reynard the Fox and like the rest of the group were gods, and they were also animal shifters. This was before I had ever thought about writing actual shifter stuff, and I never finished it just because I got caught up in other projects. But I ended up reusing that character Reynard in my shifter stuff, and I finally realized that like there's absolutely no reason that this can't be the same character, and just like my regular run-of-the-mill shifters have no idea that he is,
Ooh, I like that.
a god. And I'm really like, I'm looking forward to the day. It's going to be kind of bittersweet when I put that novel out, because it'll mean that the woman in it did ultimately die instead of becoming immortal, as was kind of what was on the table with them. But yeah, I'm looking forward to like getting that series established enough that I can finish that 18th century France story.
I've actually got another one from long time ago, probably like 20 years ago. And it is a spin-off of a story that I wrote. And one of the main characters in that is one of the gods from the first book, because it is, the whole gods thing. But he is depowered with a group of travelers, and they're trying to basically trying to cure themselves. And it's like a space like journey type of thing. But yeah, one of the characters technically is still a god, but he doesn't have his powers anymore.
I like being able to play with this character now, as having him being somewhat omniscient, and just also because he is Reynard the Fox, he's a dick. And he screws around with a lot of people, but he's a good character at the end of it. But yeah, I definitely enjoyed throwing that element into the Shifter series. Like, oh, I'm actually gonna have a lot of fun bringing him into this one.
So, I think because we're pretty much at the 2-hour mark, we should say our outros.
Okay.
Okie dokie.
Cash, do you want to do yours and then you can go back to what you were taking care of?
Yeah, sure. So I am KaShay Warren. I write short stories and poetry. Currently working on my first novel, Jesus Never Went to College. If you want to see some of my writing, I do have 2 blogs, a photography and writing blog, respectmyartistry.wordpress.com, and a lifestyle and mental health blog that is 50shadesofshade.wordpress.com. So thank you for letting me be on your channel today, Jace.
Oh,
Sorry
no
I was
problem.
super talkative, but definitely appreciate you being able to be here.
We appreciate you.
Yay.
All right. Next.
I suppose myself.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Meadow Lamoreaux, and I do my live streams on my channel on Tuesdays at 4 p.m. Eastern. I'm also planning the AuthorTube meetup in Portland the first weekend of June. If you're interested in coming to that, let me know on either Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, and I'll add you to the list, and then I can answer any questions you have. I'm also going to be looking for beta readers for my book in the end of April. So cool.
Cool.
All right. I'm Amber Craft. I write paranormal romance. Join me on my channel in the morning for more writing. Noon Eastern, so whatever time that equals for you. I'm working on editing the videos from the last 2 weeks for me being sick, so there will be 3 videos next week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, to catch up. And make sure you check out my website and my Patreon so you can get a first look of my cover for Unknown Family when that comes out, before I do the cover reveal on YouTube. And something else, I don't remember. Oh, and I will be looking for beta readers. If you want to go ahead and sign up now, they should be getting sent out at the beginning of March. So make sure you check that out. Otherwise, see you in the morning.
Right, and I am Chloe Alice Balkin, and I co-host on Mondays from 5 to 7 p.m. Eastern with Sandy Vasher for Word Stitch Write-ins. You can find us on that AuthorTubers spreadsheet because I'm not on that right now. And yeah, I write paranormal romance, and I am currently looking for ARC readers so that I can have some beta readers lined up for the sequel. So I'm looking for ARC readers for my Christmas demon romance in hopes to also get some beta readers for my Easter demon romance. So if you are interested, hit me up.
All right. I am Jace Maxwell. I am in the process of setting up my editorial business, and I am getting close to editing my first book, and I'm working on writing my second book. And stay tuned. I'm here on Saturdays. All right. It was great having all of you here. We had a good time, I think, and I think we had a really productive time. So we can say adieu to you and you and you and you and you. Bye, everyone.
Toodles.